Welcome back to the black hole of real estate. We have been fielding some questions about investment properties and, in particular, multifamily properties. And I thought that would be a great topic of conversation today to answer some of the questions that have been coming in, which we absolutely appreciate. This is your host, Ron Weiss-Sakarski, for the black hole of real estate. So, investors are looking more and more at multifamily properties. And it seems to me that in the beginning, a lot of people start with a single family home. Sometimes we're just accidental landlords. We own a property, we try to sell it, it's not selling for the price that we want, or maybe in the time frame that we need it to sell. And we are blending a family. We are getting divorced, we are moving across town, getting transferred across the country. Maybe somebody's passed on, a baby is born. I mean, all these reasons where people become accidental landlords. And so the single family home that they have goes on the rental market. And that becomes the first investment property. And then maybe somewhere down the road they buy that next property that they move into because of their life change and circumstance. And, they're collecting some rent. And they're like, this is pretty good. Let's do the same thing, and all of a sudden they've got 2 or 3 properties and buying another, and now they've got several single-family homes. And at some point, it's like, the rent's coming in, but, what's the next step? And for many people, it becomes, the 2-family, the duplex, the triplex, and for others, a quad. And those are ones that are attainable, certainly with cash, but also with mortgages through traditional methods. Anything under 4 doors is going to be eligible for conventional financing. Now, if you're a VA or an FHA buyer, then you're going to have to live in one of those properties and document that, and they're not going to let you use those programs unless you can demonstrate that. But 1 to 4 family properties are super popular these days, and a lot of people are looking for that because now you've got 3 or 4 rents coming in, which help cover the costs. And if someone moves out, at least you've got most of your money coming in, and you can work on the other one. When there's a vacancy, it's also a time to go through and renovate so you can get more money down the road and also easily maintain the property and secure that equity for years to come. So the vacancies can, I won't say they work in your favor, but they can be less inconvenient than when you have a single family home and somebody moves out and you lose 100% of the rent. And I think this is why people evolve into multifamily properties. And look, there's many, many reasons. Maybe you just want to acquire a bunch of doors and you want to have an opportunity for exponential growth. I mean, that's absolutely a good reason to look at the bigger properties. Now, let's say that you find something with 5 doors or 10 doors or 20. Well, again, cash is an option to purchase those. But the other thing that you're going to look at is if you want to finance, you're moving into a commercial loan. This is a bank-driven loan where you're going to meet with somebody and it's going to qualify differently. If you were trying to purchase it individually, that would make sense with a commercial loan. If you're trying to put it through an LLC, you may need a specialized banking institution or a private lender to do that. There's a number of ways that you can make those purchases, but from the beginning, let's just start with the money. I've given you a couple of reasons how people might evolve from accidental landlords to single-family landlords to evolving into more doors. But somebody may be coming from a business where they've been around multifamily properties. It's become attractive to them. Maybe they've recently retired or resigned a position that had a high net value to the salary where they want some other type of vehicle in their investment to bring money back. They could just be cashing out of the stock market because they've done so well over the past few years and feel safer with a hard asset, something that you can move into and live in. Let's face it, over the last 100 years, the top 2 investments have been real estate and the stock market in that order, and that's likely to continue. So now, what should we be looking for in multifamily? Well, there's some things that are readily apparent that we should talk about. If there's 4 units, are there 4 electric meters and 4 water meters? Chances are there is 4 electric meters, and then the tenant could each pay their own electric. They'd probably also put their own internet in there. Gas, perhaps, if it's available in the area, but water, a lot of times, it's just one water feeding system feeding the whole house. So that would become a landlord responsibility to pay for that. Now, you can factor that in the total cost of the rent, or you can try to do an estimator for the tenants that are in there. But what's going to become important there for your return on investment is all the plumbing working properly. Are the toilets flushing properly and not running and wasting water? Are there any leaks in the pipe? Is there anything to prevent somebody from doing 500 loads of laundry this month because the water's free? Those are things that are going to cut into your profits. So if you had 4 meters for the electric and 4 meters for the water, in most cases that's ideal, because now you pass it along to the renter. And what else would I be looking for? I would look at parking. If you've got a 4-family property and only 4 parking spaces, unless every person is living alone and only has 1 car, that could be an issue, as is the traffic pattern. Are they parking in tandem where if one person parks in the way, the other, and they can't get out to go to work? Are we towing vehicles? Are we sharing keys? Or are we just having people yelling at each other? So we want to make sure that if you're looking at a property, is there viable parking that is workable for each of the units? So if there's 4 units, is there 8 parking spaces? I mean, that might be something you would look at, because many times if there's more than 1 bedroom, that would indicate you might need more than 1 parking spot for that particular property. The roof system, are they individual roofs? Is it tethered together as one roof? And you're certainly not likely to pass it along to the tenants. So when it's time to do the roof, you're going to have disruption, there's going to be noise, and there's going to be a big expense to you. So is the property you're looking at, does it have a roof, or can you get the roof done in the first 30 days of ownership when there's transition and disruption anyways? Something I would look at. If there's a long lifespan, I wouldn't change out the roof, but if it's nearing its useful life, and maybe the seller will put it on as part of the closing arrangement or part of the negotiation, sometimes it's ideal. But I would absolutely be looking at that. Electrical, are all the electrical panels updated? Is there 1 per unit? Can it be separated in such a way? I don't know. If there's only 1 feeding the whole 4 properties, what would that cost to get that separated? If that's something you even wanted to do. Same with the plumbing. If it's a shared 1 water meter coming in, would you want to separate that, or would it be cost prohibitive? These are things we just really have to take into consideration. And then, HVAC, air conditioning, and heat. Are those 4 separate? Is it 1 feeding the whole place? Because, boy, you've got a whole situation going on with the thermostat controller. Why is one side warm and someone would like it cooler? There's a lot going on with that. So, plumbing, heating, electrical, HVAC, super important things to make sure that it's been taken into account. Parking spaces, we've talked about that. What else? Is there an area in the backyard? Is there a shared facility where grills can be put? Is there 1 grill for everybody? Is there a bike rack? Is there a fence? Are pets allowed? If Rover's in the backyard and bites little Johnny next door, is that an issue for you? Do you have the right insurance and liability to cover you if it's a tenant dwelling only? Or if you're living there, does the insurance policy address your unit as well as all the renters' units? We've mentioned the financing. There's always going to be repairs and ancillary costs. Do you actually manage it yourself and collect all the rents from your neighbors if you're living there or not? Or do you hire a management company to take care of all that, get that off your plate? Some people really enjoy collecting the rent and doing the maintenance. Others run from that, would never want anything to do with it. And as you scale and get more doors in 6, 8, and 10, that might become a full-time job, and you'd have to decide, is the extra money to do all the work that you don't pay out, to do all the work yourself, is it actually worth it for you? The thing about multifamily properties that can really help gain wealth is that there's always a reason to buy it, there's always a reason to sell it. And if you wanted to acquire 50 doors as a strategy, it would certainly cost a lot of time and money to purchase 50 individual homes. But if you could buy, 8 properties with 6 or 7 properties or 8 units each, you can get to 50 doors in quite a hurry. And it might save you in the financing. It may save you in titling, because now when you go to liquidate the property, you've got 50 different transactions, 50 title insurance policies, 50 closing fees. If there were 6 or 8 units per there, you can save 50, 60, 70% of the fees because you're going to make one sale to sell 6 doors. So starting with the end in mind, it's not just what you pay in the beginning for the property, it's what's going to cost you to escape that property. And if there are multiple fields replicated over time, well, now you can see why a lot of people evolve and say, geez, if I got 50 doors, it's 50 sales to liquidate. But I could liquidate my multifamilies in 6 or 7 transactions. That may be more appealing down the road. So if you're thinking that it's time for me to take the next step into rentals and you want to buy the first door, or you're an accidental landlord, drop us a line. We're happy to answer any more questions about that. But my suspicion is over time, a number of people will start to evolve into the bigger multifamily properties. And that's why we wanted to address those questions today to make sure that you've got a basis to move forward with. So definitely hit the subscribe button. If you enjoyed this content, please let us know. And if you got questions or suggestions for our next topic, definitely drop me a line. This is Ron Wojciechowski for the Black Hole of Real Estate.